Digital Problem Areas Surrounding the Western Sydney Parramatta Engineering Hub by Nicholas Reid. For this assessment task, the new problem area I had to focus on had to be digital and had to relate to the Western Sydney building itself. The problem area I've chosen to investigate for this assessment task is the digital screens used to present for Launchpad on Level 1 of the Western Sydney University Parramatta Engineering Hub. I have chosen to define and solve this issue as it's overlooked by many stakeholders, as it's not used much, but does however present some problems, such as a connection issue and user knowledge. The problem that has been defined is how the digital screens used for the Launchpad system on Level 1 does not meet the needs and wants of the clients. This is possibly due to how the clients can sometimes struggle to connect to their technological devices to the Launchpad screens used in presentations as a result of possible connection issues, or even how to properly use the Launchpad system for presentation in the first place. For better defining this problem, I have used mirror mapping to further look into how the problem can be better defined and eventually find a solution. The first mirror mapping I've used was a concept modeling, as it was used to set out a path that I would take to better define this problem, and then further develop an insight into how to solve it. Storyboard templates were used to look at the problems from a client's perspective, and the empathy mapping was used to see how the clients would feel. I then used affinity mapping to now categorize and then establish differences among different scenarios and their users. As this helps me to further develop an understanding into the problem area, the user persona was used to define the interests, purpose, and the client's needs and expectations. And I used this for the Launchpad problem area, and I used journey mapping for the clients to see how the client is affected by the problem area and how this impacts them. I use taxonomy to further compare the different situations and scenarios for the user. I observe as this includes the activity, ease of use, actions, best for, situation, environment, interaction, object, and finally the outcome. I had also used concept modeling, as I have now learnt to further develop my understanding of the problem area, as seen in the foresight strategy, where I can now fully define the problem area as the connection issue and how the user does not know how to fully use the Launchpad system screens. To further use methodology, I use general observation and Google Forms in my survey and gather data to then solve what the solution for this problem area is, and how can the solution work long term, not just short term. The first question I asked was, have you ever had problems using the Launchpad system? And the second question I had asked was, would you say you've had issues connecting to the screens used by Launchpad? For question 3, I asked, do you know how to completely use the digital system when presenting and or setting up for a presentation? And then the next question I had asked was, how satisfied are you using the current state of the Launchpad screen for presenting to have a better general idea of the user's perspective when using the Launchpad? For the last 3 questions, I asked, would you like a better connection system put into place to conclude if they did indeed not like the current connection system put in place? The next question I used was, what would be the best way to have a better knowledge of how to use the screens for presenting, and to have some feedback on what would be the best course of path, and how my final question of how it would be beneficial to change the Launchpad system to make it easier to present on Level 1 of the Engineering Hub at Western Sydney Uni to finalise my data collection. For the first question, I had 100% of the people who completed my survey say that they have in fact had issues with the Launchpad system, as this immediately proves that there was a problem that needs to be solved in order to meet the client's needs and wants. For the second question, I had 83.3% of the answer answered as yes, and 16.7% of the answer answered as no, as this shows that the problem I'm currently defining and solving is a digital problem, and it's not just a Launchpad brand, but rather the digital screens used for presenting the Launchpad itself. The third question proved that everyone who did my survey did not entirely know how to use the digital system for presenting, hence it's not just a connection issue, but it's also a user knowledge issue as well, further helping me to understand and develop upon this problem area. 66.7% of question 4 said they are not at all satisfied with using the current Launchpad system, and the other 33.3% said neutral, as not only does this show that most people already dislike the system, but no one said they actually liked it, only neutral, and not all responses. Most people in question 5 agreed that they would like to have the current connection system changed, showing the need for the current system either to be updated or removed or replaced with a better one. For question 6, 2/3 of the people who participated in my survey preferred to actually have a touchpad nearby to use as a source of information, as this will allow the user to have access to information they will need and can ask questions on how to use the Launchpad system for setting up and presenting. Finally, everyone who participated in my survey said that it would be beneficial to change the current system to make it easier, hence generating a need for long-term solutions to be put in place to better meet the needs and wants of the clients and the stakeholders who use the Launchpad system for presenting. To conclude my research and data collecting, I can confirm that the exact problem occurring from the Launchpad system is how people have connection issues, most likely as a result of different devices, the different connection systems put into place, and people having been properly educated on how to fully operate the Launchpad digital screens. As seen in the photograph of the model, I've made it show how on the left side of the person presenting, there is multiple ports for different types of devices, allowing for easy connection between the user's devices and Launchpad digital screens. And on the right of the person presenting, there is the touchpad screen tablet that can be used for clients who wish to use the Launchpad system but don't know how to properly use it, as the touchpad allows for the user to find answers to questions. This is a solution I have finalized and designed to last long term. For my references, I focus on websites that talk about Launchpad systems, its creation, and what it's used for, as this was the best information that I could possibly have used for this assessment task. I have also used websites provided to me by my mentors to help with my assessment task, such as Contextual Design, as this was provided to me on Western Sydney Views. Thank you for listening to my presentation.